YouTube. What's up, guys? We're back. Another Wednesday night for the good life. We're all
Another one.
we're in the building. We're about to go live over on Instagram as well. But as always, we're so excited to be here with you guys. We're excited to share another week with you. What is this? Episode 44. Guys, 44 weeks.
It's one of my favorite numbers.
There we go. There's I'm not into the numerology, but I guess I gotta get on this wave because there's a I know there's a lot of significance in numbers, right? In these fours and all that stuff. Yeah, right.
Oh, absolutely. It's huge.
Yeah.
Stu, I've accepted you like 30 times. I don't know what's going on.
Stu's coming. He's coming. We'll figure
You
it out.
don't you don't see none? It won't even let me push the button. No, come on. Come on, guys. Work with me here.
It's happening. But anyway, before we even dive in, let's throw this up on the bottom. You're watching Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. You see it, bit.ly/email TGL. Guys, we're about to drop some major news. I don't even know if we said when we're going to drop it. Stu's in on Instagram.
I'm in.
We don't even know when we're going to drop this information, but for now, you gotta make sure that you register for bit.ly or for our landing page bit.ly/email TGL. You're gonna get all the good stuff there. So make sure you join it because we got some good stuff coming out. We're gonna drop these nuggets for you. I don't know, sometime this week probably. We'll figure it out. But we're excited about it. Tonight we're talking some health stuff. So could be take it over, man.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. So, we're saying some health stuff, but let's put a little bit more respect on this health stuff we talking about.
All due respect. Health stuff. All due respect. Just didn't have the words in the moment for exactly what we're talking about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is okay. We're gonna help you out. We're gonna help you out.
Respect on his
not on me. No. On the health, because that is the foundation of what everything is built on. Really interesting, guys. You should join us in the pregame. Not you should. I request that you join us in the pregame. Because that's where we really like dive into what's happening currently and, chop it up a little bit to see what's going on. The rest of it is a little, not a little, it's more scripted. We're coming at you with some real good information, something tangible that you can take away and actually implement in your life so that you can live the good life that you are seeking. And I think it's incredibly important. But however, today, though, we're going to talk about how to stay healthy all year round with the 80-20 rule. For those that are not familiar, that's Pareto's principle stating that 20% of the things we do, right, yield 80% of the results. And this is one of my key things in the area as I continue to grow and study the area of health. And guys, when I say health, I always include the whole thing. No way you can have a physically health. No way you can separate physical health from mental health. No way you can separate physical health from mental health from spiritual health. They're intertwined. All right. They're intertwined. How many times we hear of athletes dropping dead who look amazing? They look amazing, but they drop dead. Because of what? Heartbreak, because of all types of stuff that occurs. Side note here. Don't buy a property with an HOA, please. Blowing up my phone about some garage. Who cares? Anyway, let's go back to what matters here, your health. Ridiculous. I hate HOA so much.
For that matter, don't even buy a home. Like, no. Let's just go.
You know what? I agree with Chris.
Let's just go all the way there.
Buy an investment property.
Yeah, absolutely. That money should be working for you. I heard Kanye say this on Drink Champs. I don't know if he's a good person, but whatever, right? Like I heard Kanye say he doesn't have a home, and he said people were trying to get him to get a home, And he was like, what do I need a home for? What do I need a house for? You just want to make me spend my money. Like, what do I need this for? I travel. I'm never home. Like, what do I need this for? And that's something people should be thinking about a lot. What do you really need that house for? Really? But anyway, we digress.
I would buy some land though. That's just me.
Absolutely. Real
I would
estate,
buy some land.
real estate as an investment is a great asset class. It's a great asset class. Personal home to live in
Highlight the key words there. Real estate.
as an investment.
There we go. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Anyway, let's keep us moving here, shall we, sir?
That has nothing to do. We'll get to that topic another day, but that has nothing to do with what we just talked about, by the way.
Not at all. Although it is all part of health. It is
Absolutely.
all part of health. So if you take anything from the first part of this, is that health. It's like you drop. It's like you're swimming in the ocean, man. It's all around you. Everything is always triggering. Everything is always doing it, and something. Your heart rate could be perfect. You're breathing on point. Your gut great. Everything on point. And then you go and you see something out there and it just messes up your head. You know, anybody ever been in that position? You're like having a fantastic day. You've been taking care of yourself all year, whatever. And then something happens and you just like, you feel so bad that it's actually physical. It actually manifests itself physically. So going back to the 80-20 rule, 20% of the things you do deliver 80% of the results in your life. I think this is incredibly important because guess what, guys? I think a lot of times we get stuck on the health journey because we approach it with 100% or zero. 100% or zero mentality. You know what? I slipped up. Forget it. Binging all week, right? Okay. And who, you know, I don't know anybody, that myself included, who's never been in that situation. But the first step we always talk about in this program is bringing awareness, right? Is bringing awareness to it. So maybe when we have some awareness to it, we can actually put some strategies in place that would help us to not end up in that position so often, right? And that's where we get to the 80-20 rule. Our mind in terms of health has been it's heavily controlled, man, and indoctrinated in terms of what we think health is. And so we kind of put these things in boxes. Like, if we're not doing this, if you're not lifting 400 pounds at the gym, you're not anybody, right? If you're not vegan, goodness gracious, you're a terrible person. Okay. I've been around all these different groups and communities, and they're all right and they're all wrong. They're all right and they're all wrong. You know, so let's boil down. Today, what I want to do is boil down, what is that 20% then? Okay, but you're doing all this talking, etc. What is that 20%? What is it that I need to do? Right. Before we talk about that 20%, though, I want you guys to think about something here. Is that life moves in cycles. And we go, a minute is just as important as a year. Right? So we take it's little pieces that make up bigger pieces, that make up bigger pieces, that make up bigger pieces. Because guess what? That's the way the world works in general. We're made of cells that make up molecules, that make up bigger things, that make up even bigger things, and then bigger things, and then they make a human. Right? Incredibly, incredibly important that we see these cycles. Small things make big things. So why do I bring this up? I bring this up because for some people, it's extremely daunting to think about like a year, staying fit for the whole year. Oh my gosh. But I got Thanksgiving. I got all this stuff going. Man, I don't know. So then they go with a 0-100 approach. Can't do it all the time. So you know what? I'm going to do it none of the time. Yay me. Right?
Real quick, bro. I'm laughing because like that, I've had that mindset.
That's crazy. Speak to it, bro. Expand on that.
It's only recently that I don't have that mindset, but I used to have that mindset about a lot of things. Like if I can't, in my money space, if I can't invest as much as I would like to, I'm not going to invest at all. I was there at one point. It's like, I really want to do 10,000, but I can't. I can only do 400, so I'm not going to do anything. And that mindset was theirs. Same thing before meeting you and really going down this path of my health journey. I was that guy. Like, this is going to be so hard, or I mess up one day, or I don't do some one day. Then it's just binging the whole week. Like, for real, that is very much so how I thought about it. And it wasn't until I really got into this place of understanding consistency and just do small things, like you said, small things lead to bigger things, and just staying consistent on the process, which allows then for those things to grow and you to get better, or do them longer or more sustainably. That mindset is, I don't know, within the past 2 years, maybe, like since the pandemic, maybe it's very recent. I got over the money thing a little bit earlier just because being in the industry, but with my health and with some of the relationship things, that's been there. So
Yeah. Dude, you touched on a good point about how being in the industry brought your attention to it sooner. Um, and I would definitely go ahead and chime in with that. Um, for me personally, having always focused on the psychology and the mental side, like it is so natural. I don't even notice when I begin to take care of myself throughout the day on something mental. Things that don't come as naturally to me would be more of the money side, would be more of the physical health side, because that's not like my default. And those things that aren't your default, oftentimes that 0 to 100 thing can just sneak up out of nowhere and get you. All it takes is like an off day to all of a sudden like disrupt your flow. And if you don't have things in place, you can really slide back into it. So for me personally, man, I definitely second what you're saying. Like there have been a lot of things in my life where I had that 0 to 100 mentality. Um, and as you move forward, like you get better and better at it. But yeah, I'll appreciate you pointing that out to me.
yeah,
Thank you both for chiming in on that, because I think we kind of live in isolation with a lot of this stuff. All right, so somebody, I mean, maybe both of you can speak to it. Like, could you have acknowledged that, like, before you made the switch, or before things kind of switched, that hey, this is the way I behave, or is it something you just kind of like kept to yourself?
yeah,
Definitely phases. Like, I think at first, absolutely no way to acknowledge it. I think second, once you get to a point where you've seen a lot of progress, there's almost some shame from acknowledging publicly or amongst your friends that you slip back into a 0 to 100. You don't want to let people know. And then you get to a point where you're much more open about it because you understand how fluid you can actually be going from a 0 to 100 state of mind to a day by day consistency. You can actually get back in it super easily. The more you talk about it, the less shame you have about that topic and those lapses.
yeah.
In my experience.
Yeah, no, I second that. Like you said, in phases. Um, I think awareness is the key, because once I was aware of the money stuff, I wasn't aware of the other things. But once I became aware of those things as well, I could naturally try to get myself back into a rhythm, or back into what I needed to do. So, but before then, I probably kept it to myself. In general, we don't talk about a lot of this stuff anyway, right? So probably kept it
Yeah.
to myself.
And I'm here to tell you that's pretty common. That's super common. And so that's why we're here to talk about it, because it's actually a lot easier to it's actually a lot easier to stay in motion than to get over inertia. Right. So the idea of like, a zero, if I'm not doing it 100, I'm not going to do it at all, is flawed on so many levels, because you're not going to get to 100 in the first place anyway when you first get started. I don't know anybody that starts at 100, right? I don't know anybody that starts at 100. You might start at 10, you might be, maybe better off, maybe you start at 56, right? But I don't know anybody that starts at 100. So that idea keeps us paralyzed. So my goal today is just to break it down so people can see. Now, if you've been through my one of my programs, but in particular, a 10-day solid food vacation juice feast, this will make a lot more sense to you, right? This would be, you have felt the ramp up, you have felt the slowdown, You have felt the slip back into old behavior, and you have felt getting back to what you experienced during those 10 days, right? So, and that's very common, whether or not you've even done that, right? Maybe you get a push, and you like, hey, listen, I'm gonna go jog for a month, and you were jogging for a month. You were doing things, you felt good, things were great, and then something happened, right? It could be something small, like had a terrible day at work. I'm gonna bench today. I'm not gonna do that. Or it could be something big, like I lost somebody in my life, right? But and by the way, I'm not exempt from any of this. This is why I can speak to this and speak to it authentically, because it's something even I experience. The ramp up, right? The getting over the inertia part is real. And it's so much better to stay in motion with even the bare minimum, right? The bare minimum. Okay. So, you know, you're not going to be shocked by any of this stuff. You're not going to be shocked by any of this stuff. I'm going to deal with the fundamentals. The fundamentals. I don't care if you're black, green, or hazel. What color is hazel? Is hazel green? Is it green family?
Brown.
Green, brown.
Green, brown. Is that what that is? Okay.
Amber.
Cool. Cool.
Amber color.
I'm with it. So, you know, there's seven, and I'm going to refer to what are the 20. Let's go back to the 20 piece. Actually, before we do that, let's talk about the cycle piece, or the how life moves in cycles. I think these are two things: how life moves in cycles, and what is that 20%. So first, how life moves in cycles. Well, for some people, it's a lot easier to think about it in day by day, whereas for some people, it's a lot easier to think about it in weekly, to think about it in monthly. Now, we've gotten to a point where a lot of us thinking monthly when it comes to money, because that's just how the system works. That's when most people get paid. They get paid monthly, right? However, there's still some people that get paid weekly, and there's some people that get paid daily, right? But the majority of people get paid monthly. Let me ask you guys. We can go in so many different directions. But let me ask you guys: daily, weekly, monthly, annually. What can your mind handle? Where's your mind most comfortable when it comes to kind of like thinking about your life, planning, putting things into place?
Personally, it's like yearly, probably like half a year, like 6 months. Like I live out there. Actually, it's tough for me to. I stay present as much as I can, but my brain actually, like, I like to operate out of that, that 6 months to a year out. I often think about that. Now, I don't know if that's answering your question fully, because
it does.
Okay.
But so you plan on like a semi-annual, like annual basis. You like 6 months. You like 12 months.
Yeah.
That's where your brain works. That's fine. How about you, Stu?
I love the differences we all have, because my default, if I were not to disturb myself at all, my default method is daily. Like it might be less than daily. It's just how, like, being present has not been a problem for me. Thinking long term was something I have to learn and practice. So I think daily for the most part, probably closer to monthly when it comes to money, just because of the things you mentioned. Rent makes it, your monthly payments for utilities. Sure. But I would say for most things, daily.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I'm a planner. I like to plan in terms of, or like a dreamer, right? So I like to look at, where could I be in 6 months? Where could I be in a year? Where could I be in 5? But I operate on the daily and weekly, right? So in terms of my actual operations. So what I'm saying is, regardless of where you fall on the spectrum, you can structure your health stuff in any, and in fact, you should really be structuring in all, right? What are you doing day after day? Fits into what you're doing weekly, fits into what you're doing monthly, fits into what you're doing annually, right? So let me give you guys examples. Let's look at the annual level. Conveniently breaks down into 4 quarters, right? Mm-hmm. Conveniently breaks down to 4 quarters. So let's say something as simple as looking at, okay, well, I live in New Jersey. Half of the year is complete trash weather-wise. All right. Sorry, anybody in New Jersey, but it's the truth. And the other half is not. So when weather is bad and it's cold and it's rainy and it's whatever, you have a plan. And when it's this, you have a plan. So what I mean by that, so let's say it's really cold. Well, guess what? I'm not going outside running. Just not doing it. It's just not going to happen, right? Going with the flow rather than working against the grain here. But what I am going to do is I'm going to train to put on a little bit of muscle. Yes, that means I'm going to eat a little bit more. Yes, that means I'm going to be a little bit heavier, but I'm going to lift heavy. I'm going to train and put on muscle mass during that season. And in the summertime, I'm going to go through a cut season where I actually lose that body fat. I trim back up. I'm going outside for runs because the weather is beautiful. I'm getting tons of fruits because it's in season. It's easy for me to get water. I don't actually work as much because I'm outside the daylight. It's more, et cetera, et cetera. Working with the grain then, man, it becomes so much simpler. I see so many people working against it, right? Where they all of a sudden in the middle of December, they're going out for jogs. Why are you doing that, bro? You know you're gonna only be doing that for a week, maybe, right? So just don't set yourself up for that, right? So on an annual basis, I actually think of it in quarters. So for me, at least four times a year, I'm looking at how's my gut. I'm looking at where is my adipose tissue, my body fat, where are my iron levels, where all that stuff. And based on what the season allows in terms of weather, food, commitments, right? So, I was a teacher, or if you're a teacher, summertime's a lot better than the fall, right? A lot better. It's better than winter too, for sure, right? Thinking about it in that term, and then in that term, you can boil it down even more. Okay, cool. I know that in the summertime, I'm going to be more active. I'm going to be out a little bit more. I'm going to be eating these foods a little bit more. So you plan towards it, right? So that's for somebody that thinks. And in fact, if you, for example, if you're very active 6 months out of the 12, depending on what you do, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. Right now, if you spread that out a little bit better, you're going to be even better. Right. And this is about staying fit with the 80-20 rule. All right. So meaning that I'm not doing this 100% of the time, y'all. Even athletes have off seasons. Right. It's cyclical. It's a cycle. I'm not doing this 24/7. You can't maintain that level of Russell Wilson cannot maintain that level of training all year round. They don't. They have cycles that they go through, right? If the season is coming up, I know, listen, I need to be in competition mode, right? When the season is off, guess what? I'm going to take a trip to the Barbados with the family for 2 weeks. I'm going to rest and recover and let my body go. Take my mind off of football. Take my mind off of the stuff that's going on. I'm going to plan it in. See, a lot of people say, oh, take a vacation. I don't actually see that as a vacation. I see that as a baked in, like this is required for me to function at a high level. This is not me retreating from my life. No, this is me celebrating everything that's happened. This is me
so glad
baked into the cake. Go ahead, Stu.
So glad you made that point, man. I know so many people from construction that view vacations as completely unnecessary, and they'll work and they'll work and they'll work and they'll literally admit to burning themselves out, with a badge of honor. But they're not satisfied. They're not healthy. Like, you can hear the tone of their voice. You can hear the stress. They often verbalize their complaints about everything, yet they don't actually view that vacation time as not something that is just fun. It's not just going out there and getting, turned up. It's literally how you take care of your health, because you cannot operate at that competition mode all the time. So thank you for making that point.
Thank you, chiming in. And by the way, guys, if I have direct questions, I'm going to ask you, but feel free to chime in at any point. Some people cannot think on an annual level. It's just too long. It's too big. It's too much. Like my makeup, most people can't. I'll make a plan in January. Catch me in February. Nah, that's cool. Oh yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I'll do that next year, right? Some people can think very well on a monthly level, right? So you go through the same cycle. It's the same cycle of pull, push. It's the same type of expand, contract. It's the same cycle, right? So in a month, same thing I'll do in a year. It might be that I'm training 3 weeks straight. On the 4th week, I take a recovery week, and I do that every single month. That's baked in. I know this week coming up, I know the last week of every month, I tone it down. Right? I tone it down. That's when I might go do whatever else you need to do to be back into it fully. Right? That's how some people work on a monthly basis, 21 days straight. And some of you have experienced that with me before. 21 days straight, like 7 days off, a week off. And when I say off, I mean that you've shifted gears. Not that you stop doing what you were doing, but you just shift gears to something else. That thing may be a different mode of training. Maybe you were doing long distance running for a while, and then for a week, you just kind of take it easy, do a couple of sprints, call it a day. Right? So if you can't think on an annual level, can you think on a monthly level? If you repeat that 12 times, you never have to think on an annual level. For some people, monthly, annual still doesn't work. They need a weekly. And God endorses that, by the way. Gave us a 7th day to rest. Okay? Grind. Work. 5, 6 days, 7-day rest. Repeat. You repeat that 52 times. I believe it's 52. Correct me if I'm wrong. 52 times. Never have to think about an annual. Never have to. And guess what? For a lot of people, that built in more flexibility in the sense of like you're doing it 52 times versus 4 times a year. So 52 times, if one doesn't go as well as planned, fine. I'm back at it. I'm back at it next week. For some people, that works way better, right? Yeah. And then there's more people that think on a daily level. Like every single day, maybe I don't train as hard. Maybe I do train hard, or I don't train as hard, but every single day I'm getting something in for 30 minutes. You best believe 30 minutes. I'm doing my intermittent fasting. I'm only eating within a certain window, but I eat what I want within a certain window. And that works a lot better for some people. So ask yourself, how does your brain work? What really attracts you? Like what attracts you? I would recommend that you try all of them. Pick major, big, hairy, audacious goals for the year and chip away at it monthly, weekly, daily. Bake in some rest and recovery. That has to be factored in. Bake in some rest and recovery, and you're set. By the way, this is also how you plan. Like, this is how Jordan's trainer writes him a plan, right? You look at an annual level. When within the year is he going to be in season? When within the year does he have to be top notch? Versus when in the year he needs to be all the way down? Man, Chris, I didn't mean to bring you to tears, brother.
I know, man. You got me, man.
You're out here moving people.
So I want to pause right there and let you guys kind of chime in. Is this something you've heard about? Did you experience this as an athlete? Is this something you implement, maybe not in your health life, but in your other aspect of your life currently? What else would you add to this? What might you have questions about?
Listen, I'll jump in real time. I'm glad you're talking about cycles because I literally just had these thoughts over the past 2 days, could be, right? Real time. And we haven't talked about this, but because I mentioned this offline to you, that it was harder to start getting fruit. That normally I was doing fruit before noon, but because it's winter out here, it's getting a little bit more difficult for me to find good fruit. I've fallen off a little bit of that fruit before noon, and I was good for 9 months, 8 months, 7 months, I don't know, long period of time, I feel like. And because the circumstances of the not being able to get the fruits that I want in the proportions that I want slowed me down, started doing, and we were talking about grounding before, but like not even going outside because it's cold that day or whatever. These things have started to pop up for me over the past probably 3 weeks, 3 weeks or so. And I literally started talking to myself to say, is this a cycle that I have to learn to deal with? That maybe I thought about when we really got connected and I went on this health trip. It started back in like January or February of this year was really when I got in, and then it just lasted all the way through the summer. And it was just kind of this great, like, I get myself into shape and then do a couple juice feasts and then make my way through. I feel great for the summer. And then just over this past 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so, that momentum feel like it slowed down, not because of anything I wanted to do, but because of the circumstances around, because my business picked up, because I was struggling to get the food or go outside. And so I started thinking like, man, maybe this is a cycle. Like maybe I'm like heavy January through September, and then it gets cold again. I don't know, but the cycles that you're talking about, it resonates with me because that's how I think. And again, me thinking about my year, that's kind of how I think about things. It's like, okay, how can I keep this or maintain this for 12 months? And yeah, this conversation's coming like right on time for that. So I appreciate it.
You know, as you brought all this up, I mentioned, I believe it was either in the pregame or perhaps earlier on this, how I traditionally think daily. And when it comes to the fitness side, specifically the exercise piece, the nutritional piece, I do very well at thinking about that on a daily basis. Very cognizant of it, kind of keep an eye on it. That's how I kind of measure things. But on the movement piece, I definitely like the idea that you presented of your first 3 weeks on and then your rest week. Because like something happens after about a month. Like I just lose the interest. But if I have it kind of baked into the calendar schedule, and I actually have an idea of how I'm going to have a visual to help me kind of map this out. But I like the idea of looking at the different pieces of your life. Where do you feel as an individual the most effective at thinking of it? Is it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever? Well, I think for this piece, for the movement and exercise, I'm going to start trying it on a monthly basis. 3 weeks on, 1 week off. So I appreciate that.
That's huge, man. That's huge. You got to know yourself and kind of what works. And even if you don't, test it out. Just test it out. Start with a big, hairy, audacious goal. Break it down. How do you think about it? And, Chris, it's very common, man, especially if you live in a cold climate. That's a tough city, man. Shout out Philly.
We'll keep coming back to that city of brotherly love. Let's go. Not tough.
Yeah.
We love
yeah.
Go Cowboys.
Kind of like the Federal Reserve. No reserve and not federal. Brotherly love. No brothers and no love.
We are brothers, and we're full of love. Don't you know the love statue, right? The love, it's there. It's a part of the city.
Of course,
anyway,
of course. The statue makes it
real.
Go
to your next point, sir. Go to your next point, please.
Shout out Philly.
I heard that under your breath too, Stu. I'm gonna let it slide. Keep going. When did this become about me and Philly? Huh? When did
If you are listening from Philadelphia, we love you. Send us a message if you're looking for a way out.
Somebody loves you.
There's at least one person with brotherly love for anybody here in Philly.
That's right. I got you. I got enough for all of you.
Oh man. So for Chris, for your example, for in your case, for example, right? Maybe you break it down to quarterly. Maybe fourth quarter, man, that's a crazy quarter for me. It's cold or seasonally. Like it doesn't have to be calendar-wise. It's based on, it doesn't have to be calendar. It can be however you break it down. Seasonally. 4 seasons too, so that's great. You break it down, maybe 2 seasons, you're going hard, man. You're gaining ground, knowing that you're going to lose a little bit of ground. Not lose, but you're baking that in, right? I'm going at 120. I'm going to 120, knowing that I'm going to let off to about 90, 80 for the fourth quarter. And that's going to still put me at 100 or even 110, depending on how you can still make gains. Like I said, you can't have, DK Metcalf just because that man working, bro. That man working. If you don't watch football, I don't either, but I just know just because I listen to the banter sometimes. But and I saw a picture of this man. Listen, dog. This man works. This man works. Okay, he put in some serious work. But he's not lifting heavy weights year round. The body cannot do that. It cannot do that. But it's built in. He's fit year round. But that's because he's focused on what are the 80% of the things I need to do, or 20% of the things I need to do. When do I need to do them, right? To help me stay at this level year round. And for you as a corporate jockey, that might be I need to make sure I'm clear-headed all the time. I need to make sure my energy's high all the time. I need to make sure. You know what? I need to make sure my stomach doesn't grow, like it actually decreases, right? I need to make sure whatever it is, whatever your criteria is, you listening to this, whatever your criteria is, there's a way to get that criteria all the time if you plan it well. Now, it might be that you break it down into, may break it down in seasonally, and then in wintertime, the only adjustment you really make is that your activity drops. But maybe you switch it up and go on a daily where you structure your daily in such a way that you're not putting in the same level of effort. But I can't do fruit anymore. You know what? I'm just going to do a lemon water till noon. But afternoon, I'm eating a pretty heavy meal. It's wintertime, it's something that sticks to the ribs. That works too. Whatever structure, the key is which structure agrees with you, your personality, your life, how your life is set up right now. That's one aspect of it. So that's timing aspect of it and breaking things down into small scale. I personally live on the annual, and then I break it down into weekly and daily, but mostly weekly. Why? Because it just works a lot better for me that way. So I leave an annual, break it off into 4, and each quarter has a particular goal, right? So this quarter, I'm putting on a little more size, just a little, right? It's winter time. It's not that cold for me over here, but this is a season for me to just put on a little bit more size. So I'm consuming a little bit more than I would normally, right? And maybe I'll switch this as I'm in California now. This is something this habit I brought over from the East Coast, cold ass East Coast.
South Florida.
All right, it's South Florida. Shout out. So it's something to really think about, and this is something I break down with clients all the time. It's extremely important, especially if you're a professional. Like if you are somebody that life demands you to be on point. Like you cannot just take 2-3 weeks and not be on point. Okay, life demands you to be on point. It's really important to look at that. Now, save a little bit of time for what is the actual 20%. What are those characters? What is it that you're doing? I'm gonna keep it super simple. Let's revisit our old friends, the 7 doctors of nature. Yeah. Let's revisit our old friends, guys. Listen, we have sunshine, air, water, exercise, food consumption, rest and recovery, community laughter. Now, you can put different words to that, but we're getting to the same essence right there. Okay. In that, seasonally speaking, guess what? Maybe you line up. Let's go back to Chris for a second. Maybe you line up wintertime to be like, hey, this is business season. This is when I gain ground business-wise. And this is also where I gain ground family-wise. Holidays, I'm tapping in. I'm present. I'm there. I'm going to decrease a little bit my activities on this side so I can spend a little bit more time on that. Summertime, springtime, I'm shifting a little bit. I'm going back, putting more time into the body, more time into the mind. It's not that my time with family is suffering necessarily, but it's not like it was, you know, sitting inside, cozy, drinking hot chocolate with a, no, we're not doing that in the spring. We're going out to the park, you know, daughter's playing. I'm still getting my workout in because it's nice outside. You got to see how that like lines up with your life. You know, that lining up with your life is so key because that keeps you from like falling off completely, or it makes that getting over that inertia a lot easier. Not that it's easy, but getting over that inertia a lot easier, right? So I knew this wedding season would be coming up, right? That whole October, whatever words you want to put it. I knew it. I was like October. Coming up to October, man, I was in pristine shape, dog. I was good. I was doing all right. And I knew I'd lose a little bit of ground, but I knew I'd gain it right back because of that planning ahead. 7 doctors. However you want to put that into that structure that you just decided works for you annually, whatever it is, you have to meet all these things. Like these are part of part of you staying healthy, right? So sunshine, wintertime, maybe it's like, listen, I'm not getting that much sun. It's just not where I live. That's just not the case, right? So you need to be out a lot more in the spring and summer, right? It's simple. Just balance it out. Something like community. Maybe in summertime, man, or fall time. Let's say Metcalf for the football player, for example. Fall, no, that's football season, man. I'm with the team. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Wife understands. Everybody understands. All right. You know, Metcalf this season, that's what he's doing. Okay. So fitting all these things in, when it comes to, let me give an example with the diet and the food piece. I think it's a pretty easy example to give. You could look at it in terms of a daily thing. Like I said, time restricted. So from like noon till 4, that's when I eat any solid food. The rest of the time, not eating any solid food. For some people, that really works. And thus, they don't have to limit other things in their life because for them to be in that window, they're perfect. They're good, right? For other people, they need to limit not like the window, but they need to actually limit what it is that they're eating or they're consuming and putting into their body. These sunshine, air, exercise, water, diet, rest, laughter, community, that's the 20%. When you marry that 20% with the timing, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you stay fit year round. Whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, or whatnot, that's how you stay fit year round. You guys remember, I think I may have mentioned this here or not, but sine graph, sound wave. Did I mention that on the show or no? Can't remember.
I don't think so. Not today.
No,
you have before, not today.
I have before. Okay, so let me explain. So I have this thing. When you take a circle, slice it, and put it next to each other, you have what? A sound wave or a light wave, or all waves kind of move in that pattern. That's also how our year, our days, and that's how our life kind of moves. So learning to thrive at the trough, at the top of the circles, and thrive at the bottom without anxiety. Oh, that's so key. So let me give an example here. Learning that at Thanksgiving, or constructing myself at Thanksgiving, I can actually have all the foods I want. Imagine you're at the trough here, right here. Meaning that I'm consuming heavy foods, heavy whatever, right? Because I know that I'm coming into it, having fasted, having everything clean, and I'm going out of it, going right back there. So guess what? When I sit down to eat that meal, I'm not, my mind isn't going crazy. I'm not swelling up this insane guilt for no reason. All this stuff isn't eating me up because why? It was planned. Kind of the same way when you spend money that's planned, right? As opposed coming out of pocket to buy a new laptop when you weren't expecting it, it's a lot harder than when you plan to buy a new laptop in 2 years in the fall. That's kind of the same. That's the same thing I'm putting out here on the health side, right? Knowing that I'm going to be in off-season Barbados right after I win the Warriors win the championship. Yes, you heard it here first. Warriors win the championship, right? Warriors win the championship 2021. Right afterwards, guess what Steph Curry's doing? He knows he's going out to Barbados. He knows he's doing that. So when he's on Barbados, what is he not doing? He's not freaking out. Oh God, I haven't shot a basketball in 24 hours. Tweaking. Or he sets it up in such a way that he has a basketball court in Barbados because he knows he's going there. You guys see what I'm saying? So staying fit year round, it shouldn't be like a mystery. It shouldn't be like something that you're making up on the go. It should be something that you develop year around. And by the way, if you've never thought about this, I would start on the shorter cycle so that you can fail faster. So I might start, if you've never taken your health or anything, I might start on the daily, because guess what? You get that every day. Every 24 hours, you get to correct your mistakes, learn from what happened yesterday, do it again. Man, yesterday I woke up at 7 and I just didn't work. Like I was rushing, it didn't work. For most people, we're just like sitting back while this life thing comes at us, rather than learning, like conducting it like an experiment, like learning from day after day after day after day after day. After you get to that point, I don't freak out if I don't work out for a month. People are like, oh my God, you gonna no, that's baked in. That's baked in, right? I know exactly what I'm doing. That come next month, bam, 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 I'll be right back. Within 7 days, I'll be back. And that's not like me. That's not like a cocky confidence. And that's I've seen this over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? And I take notes, take attention to that. That's it. There's no secrets.
Right. Aaron asked the question. He said, what advice do you guys have for a guy who really fell off being in shape? Ever since I stopped working in food service, I sit in a chair all day, and it makes matters worse. I have a car, so meaning he's not walking or getting the movement that maybe he wants to. So,
Aaron, welcome back.
Welcome back, Aaron.
My God. What advice do you give? Start somewhere. Start with your day. Start with that day cycle. And what I mean by that is like, you know when you're going to be sitting. Get a standing desk. Maybe invest in that.
So underrated. Underrated.
Mm-hmm.
You know when you're going to be driving. Practice breath work during that time. You don't have to be standing up for that. Right? You know when you typically get hungry. Preempt that. So start on the daily so you can quickly learn and quickly make tiny adjustments. Listen, if you make an adjustment one day and it doesn't stick, make it the next day and the next day and the next day until it sticks, and then move on to the next adjustment. So if for you, it's, how I work, because I'm working 8 hours a day, change your setup. Maybe you don't change it all in one day. Maybe it takes a month because you got to wait for some paychecks to come in. Fine. But for the next month, that's what you're focused on. Until then, stack up some boxes. You know what I mean? Until then, stack up some boxes. So I'll say, like, starting on the shorter cycle, working your way to the longer cycle, great. Yeah. Doesn't mean you can't take a look at the longer cycle, though. Starting with a big, hairy, audacious goal. What I mean by that is, like, by the end of the year, I'm going to do something crazy, holding that as the carrot, and then slowly putting in the daily habits to actually get you there. And whether you hit it or not, you're better off than when you started.
That's it. I was
What
just gonna,
advice would you guys give?
I mean, that was spot on. I was just gonna say, just get started. It's very similar to what we just talked about with the 0 to 100, right? Like that mentality of like, well, I can't walk it, like I can't do it at all, so I'm just not gonna do it, right? Like I can't do it the way I want to do it, or I can't, so I'm not gonna do it at all. Well, just start, right? Just start. If you feel like you're out of shape, well, just like Kabi said, he gave you a bunch of things, right? Just start walking today. Put it on a daily habit, right? Like just put in 30 minutes today, or right.
Let me give you another more specific example, Aaron. Is I always like to habit stack. That's where I encourage people to start from, right? So guess what you do every day? Almost every day, I hope. Sleep. You sleep every day. So looking at what do you do before bed? What do you do after bed? The end caps of your day. Great place to start. Maybe you're going to be sitting for a while. Maybe you just can't help it. Maybe you're going to be driving. But maybe get up 10 minutes earlier, knock out 10 push-ups. That's it. Not 20, not 100, just 10. Just 10. Just 10. In fact, start with 5. Just do 5. 5. And then the next day, do 6. And then the next day, do 7. Okay? Like, I want you to start so small that it feels insignificant. Because I care about the consistency, the ramp up. You give me 21 days of consistency, I'll get you somewhere. 21 days of consistency, I'll get you somewhere. Small, tiny little boop, 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 boop. Because a small molecule makes a human eventually.
Bro, you sound like me. This is the same conversation I have with people, almost identical to what you just said when it comes to the 101 level of money and building a savings habit. I literally say that, those same exact words, that it's people normally that are just starting, they don't have the habit of saving. Saving is a habit. It's not a dollar amount. It's a habit. And we don't have the habit of saving. So the way that we get the habit is to bite off something super insignificant out of our check and do it consistently every single time. That's actually how we do it. Most people bite off more than they can chew because they beat themselves up about not saving money. It's like, oh, I know I should save. All right, well, I'm gonna put 500 over there. And then inevitably they need that money. So they go back and touch it and builds a negative habit. I always tell them, bite off something so small, it's insignificant to you. Just take $15, take $20, take $10. I don't care. Just take something small that you would waste normally and put it in that savings account. The key is do it every single time money comes in. Don't ever miss a time. Every time money comes in, tiny, tiny piece over there. And what happens is over time, you're like, oh, that $20, I could do 50. Then you do the 50. You're like, oh, I can do 100, right? And then it builds. Same exact advice I give on that you just gave for the health side. So very consistent message there. Consistency.
Yeah. I want to chime in. So Aaron, you mentioned how, you had this comparison back to when you were in a different shape than where you're at now. And I think it's very easy and overwhelming at times to compare where you were before and just have a lot of your time and energy focused on, I need to get back there like right now. Like this is not acceptable or whatever. Like, oftentimes when we compare ourselves to a previous, I think physically state is a big thing. You can see financially a little tougher to look back and have a direct comparison on the mental side. But because you brought up the physical shape, I would say, just like these guys are getting at, go for consistency. Do not allow the image to flash across your mind of where you were before, where you're at now. Instead of focusing on this massive gap, like break it down. Have these small goals. Have the consistency to focus on, it's this amount of weight, or it's this distance around my waistline. So just be aware of that, because oftentimes if you're feeling overwhelmed with that analysis paralysis, the size of the thing you are looking at may be too big. So break it down. Same thing these guys are saying in a different way.
1,000%. 1,000%. I think the messaging is consistent because it's the same thing. Here's what I always say, like, Yeah, you know, money guy, mindset guy, health guy, but it's the same damn thing. It's the same thing, especially as I peek over, and mindset and the health piece are a little bit more obvious, but I see the same thing on the money side, and for me, that's when I was like, oh, if I can do this in the gym, why? Yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I can put aside $100. I can do that. It's just a muscle. I'm just repetitive. It's the same thing, guys. So funny how so many things in this world work exactly the same, just applied differently.
Right.
So, in the interest of time here, let me bring something home, and then you guys can feel free to chime in and close us out here. So, congratulations, you listened to the end. I'm gonna give you a big golden nugget right here because you waited to the end. You know, we mentioned the 7 doctors and the skills and all that. If I had to narrow it down to 3 things that hits almost every aspect of your health, here we go. You ready? This is it. Y'all ready? Congratulations for listening to the end. You get the nugget. Good work. Good work. Fast regularly. Fast food, fast all of your addictions regularly. And you know what they are. Don't make me say them. You know what they are. Fast regularly. Saves my life every time. Every time. Whether it's a 36 on a weekly basis, whether it's intermittent on a daily basis, whether it's 10 days on a monthly, quarterly basis, right? Whether it's 30 days on an annual basis. Y'all see how all that comes together? It's about the same. You see that? Oh, it comes together, right? Fast regularly, man. And not just for your physics, but your mental, right? For your spirit. Oh, man. Fast regularly. Okay. Number 2, meditation. So fast regularly gets us what? It takes care of, if you do it the way I teach, sunshine, air, movement, water, like rest. It knocks out all 7, right? And puts you back in tune and resets you if you do it properly. There's 9 levels of fasting. We can talk about that later. 10-day solid foodification juice feast. Telling y'all right now, even if you don't do it with juice, there's other things you can do it with. I've had clients now who have done it with powders, and not my first choice. I like it, but it's not my first choice. It's my second choice. First choice is pure juice. Has worked really well for them as well. They just did not want a juice, and they also live in New York. So one of them. So I was like, you should move. But number 2, meditation and breath work. Learn meditation and breath work, right? Start with 2 minutes of being present. I say 1 just sounds crazy. Right? Start with 1 if that works better for you. Okay. Start with 1 minute and build up over time. This concept of progressive overload applies everywhere. That's what we're talking about. When we say start small and build up, it's progressive overload. You don't freaking start benching 45. You start benching the bar, right? And then you go from there. And I'm not a benching fan anyway, but that's a lot of people know that, so that's a good example. Meditation and breath work, they are one and the same. Meditation and breath work, along with posture, one and the same. Learn it. So many resources out there. Hit up Stu, hit up myself. Chris, I don't think you teach meditation, but shoot, hit Chris up too.
Hit me up anyway, though. At least I do. I practice it. So there we go.
Yeah, it's so key. And there's nothing to experience besides just exercising the muscle. Right. You may not feel anything right away. Stop focusing on that. Focus on the fact that you did what you said you would do for as long as you said you would do it. That's it. Let the rest of it take care of itself. Now, not to hold us too long, last one here is track. You need to know. We don't have great memories. Track. Keep a journal. Write it somewhere. It doesn't even matter. Jot it on a tree. I don't care. Just track. And it could just be tally marks. It doesn't have to be, I did it today. I did it today. Just tally marks. Track it on your calendar on the wall. Simple. All right. I think most people still have calendars on the wall. Track it there. I don't know. Set a daily reminder on your phone, a little alarm thing. Did you do it? Check in with yourself at night. Did you do it today? I didn't do it today. All right, cool. X, no problem. I did it today. Check. And what you're checking for is, did I do what I said I would do for as long as I said I would do it? I don't care about anything else. That's it. Did I do what I said I would do for as long as I said I would do it? That's it. So you got that: fast regularly, meditation and breath work, and then track, and throw in a little bonus one: move with people. Just move with people. What I mean by that is interpret that for yourself, because whatever you're thinking in your head is correct, plus more. That's it.
Those 3, 4 were, I think that wrapped up the show very, very well. And that's for everyone that's listening. Those are some key takeaways and things that you can do. The fasting regularly, that part of it, man, that's powerful. That's powerful. I would only fast in religious, in like, church setting, when the church would have a fast. That would be, and even then I wouldn't be that great at it. I wouldn't do it the entire time. I wouldn't do well. Wasn't until I, again, could be introducing just like the power of fasting, all these things. It brings awareness to what your attachments are. When something's really hard to fast, it's because you have some form of attachment or addiction to it. That's what it's making you aware of. It's showing you, like, if you struggle to take this away, then that's the problem. So that's why you should fast regularly, because it's going to show you the areas that is hindering your growth, that you're attached to, that maybe isn't the best thing for you. And by paying attention to that, life changing.
Big facts. I'm gonna be real with you guys right now. Listen, I'm not immune to any of this stuff. That's why I say this stuff. I'm gonna be real with you guys right now. When I notice I'm deviating from where I want to be, it's not food. It's not television. It's not anything. It's weed. When I fast that, everything else falls in line. Right? Everything else falls in line. I'm telling y'all right now. And if you are out there struggling with this, if you've been telling yourself, I can stop whenever, I can put it down, I'm good. Right? Same thing for alcohol, by the way. It's the same process, right? It's all addictions, but that's just, I can do it. I'm telling you right now, guys, reach out to me. This is something I have personal experience with. Reach out to me. It's not helping you. It's not helping you. It's stealing from your future. It really is. And that's unpopular, right? Everybody out. Yeah. Right? I'm telling y'all right now, from personal experience, it's not helping you. It's not. And if you know in your heart of hearts, I'm not sure if I could actually put it down now, like you've been telling yourself that for years, I'm telling you guys, man, I have a soft spot for that, because I could pretty much give up anything, really, at this point. But I was like, man, why was that so tough? It was just so tough. To my mind, bro. If you are there, you can do better work. You can live better. You have anxiety. Your mind is like whatever, like all types of stuff is happening. Your emotions is all out of whack, whatever. I'm telling you, it is the psychotic. This is what is it? Is it psychotic? It's not psychotic, but the things that alter your mind. What is it?
Yeah. Psychedelic.
This you're putting in your. It is altering you slowly, and you just don't know it. Like it's. You're fine until you're not fine. Please reach out to me. Please reach out to me. I know this area really well. I'm not talking to you from here. I'm talking to you shoulder to shoulder. I'm talking to you shoulder to shoulder. That's it. That's it.
I'd like to, man, are you serious?
Let's see.
Hey, sorry guys. People keep calling me. I forgot to go on Do Not Disturb. I want to piggyback on this final punchline, like these three that you were building up. The fasting is probably my favorite, and I love that you put that at number one, because you can literally get addicted to anything. And when it comes to the weed and the alcohol, I've been there too, man. I think for me, especially on the alcohol side, I definitely convinced myself for about a year that I didn't have a problem. And as someone that has a very indulgent, one day at a time focused mindset, very present to the moment, whatever you want to call it, borderline addictive personality, like the fasting piece will save you in so many categories. You can literally get addicted to anything. And Kabi, this, Chris, you've known this as well. Like, you can get addicted to anything. So the fasting thing is my absolute favorite. The meditation and breath work, a comment I want to make on that. You addressed how you may not notice results immediately. This is just like the gym. Kabi is absolutely right. You cannot go to the gym one time and expect to come out looking like, I don't know, Captain America. Like, it's not going to happen. Meditation is the same way. I know a lot of people that try and get into this, and they say they can't meditate, and I ask them how many times they've done it, and they're like, maybe once or twice. What do you mean? You wouldn't say that about the gym. You wouldn't say that about the bachelor's degree that you're going after. You can't show up to class once and expect to graduate. So these things are huge. And I think overall, like, just the fasting piece is my absolute favorite. Like, just fast as many different things as you can, and it highlights everything that could possibly be steering you in a direction. Because that whole, especially the weed and the alcohol piece, could be, you and I had a great conversation about this the other day, that presents an illusion. It is an illusion that things are better. It may provide you with some short-term relief. I'm not knocking it. I participate in these things. But by fasting, you begin to understand the intensity and the frequency with which you want that in your
life. That's it. I mean, we talked about a bunch tonight, but I think it really got impactful. The whole thing was great, but this last 15 minutes, I think people that are listening, you can really take some things from this. You can really take some real nuggets on fasting, on breath work, on meditation, on paying attention, tracking these things, so that you are helping yourself design the life that you want. You have to help yourself do that. You have to give yourself the space in order to actually look at the areas that are hindering you from getting to the good life or the life that you want. And then actually going about attacking those things and fasting from those things, and getting away from that stuff. And it's important, guys. It's important. So I don't know if anybody has a final thing, but we could get this wrapped up.
Let's wrap it up. Listen, there's so much on this, but come back next week and the week after and the week after. And you mentioned Captain America. Real funny, actually. I stumbled on this video on YouTube that was like celebrities giving advice on how they transform for movie roles, right? Guys, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I was listening to this. I was like, oh, got it. One of the key things they always said is like consumption was 80% of it. 80-20 rule. Oh, you guys see that? Cause all of them, Matthew Mahumagan and all these people. I don't know their names. I don't know these people. I don't know their names like that. But all of them were hitting on this. Like, I didn't realize how much food was a factor in this, and also how tied I was to certain foods until I had to give it up or I had to change it for this movie role that's going to pay me millions, and so I had to do it. So that's it, guys. Appreciate you. I'm going to wrap this thing up. Be back next week. I believe Chris will be giving us some of that good chat. I don't know what that means, but
I don't know either. But it's gonna be good.
It sounds pretty good though.
Sounds good. Whatever that good is, I'm gonna give it to you guys. We're gonna get that next week. No, but for real, guys, We appreciate you jumping in and joining us. As always, come back next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern for the pregame. And then the show starts 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific here on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all the time on Instagram. Check us out. Join us. We want to engage with you, ask some questions, whatever Kabi is doing right now. Right, all those things being said.
My wife is wondering the same thing.
We want you to tap in with us so we can get you all this great information, guys. So until next week, we're signing off.
Later. Aaron, you're the MVP as always.
Aaron is
Take
always
care,
the
guys.
MVP.
Yeah.